To understand 0 to 1, we first need to understand what Peter Thiel means by progress. According to Thiel, there are two very different ways the world moves forward. The first is horizontal progress, going from one to many. This is when we copy things that already exist and scale them. For example, opening another restaurant, launching another ride-sharing app, or creating another online store. This kind of progress spreads existing ideas, but it doesn't create anything fundamentally new. The second is vertical progress, going from 0 to 1. This is true innovation. It's the moment when something new is created for the very first time. Going from 0 to 1 means inventing a new product, a new technology, or even a new way of thinking. It's not about doing the same thing better. It's about doing something different. Peter Thiel argues that most real value in the world comes from 0 to 1 breakthroughs. The first computer. The first internet search engine that actually worked. The first social network to connect billions of people. These weren't improvements. They were new beginnings. In business, going from 0 to 1 is the hardest step, but it's also the most important. Once something new exists, copying it is easy, but creating it in the first place requires insight, courage, and original thinking. This is why 0 to 1 is not a book about following trends. It's a book about creating the future. After explaining what it means to go from 0 to 1, Peter Thiel introduces what may be the most important question in the entire book. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? This question separates ordinary thinking from breakthrough thinking. Most people feel safe agreeing with the crowd, but if everyone already believes something is true, then there is no opportunity, because everyone is already there. Successful startups are built on secrets. In 0 to 1, a secret doesn't mean something illegal or hidden. It means a truth about the world that most people overlook, ignore, or deny. These secrets can be a problem others don't think is worth solving, a market others believe is too small, a technology others think is impossible, or a better way of doing something people assume can't be improved. Peter Thiel argues that the best businesses start by seeing the world as it really is, not as everyone assumes it is. For example, before Google, many people believed search engines couldn't be significantly improved. Before Facebook, most people believed social networks were just a temporary trend. The founders of these companies didn't just have better execution, they had different beliefs. This is why Thiel warns against building companies based purely on consensus thinking. If your idea sounds good to everyone from the beginning, it probably won't lead to extraordinary success. Instead, the most valuable ideas often sound strange, risky, or even wrong at first. In other words, progress doesn't come from asking, "What is everyone else doing?" It comes from asking, "What do I see that others don't?" One of the most controversial ideas in 0 to 1 is also one of the most memorable. Peter Thiel makes a bold claim: competition is for losers. At first, this sounds wrong. We're taught that competition makes companies stronger, smarter, and more efficient. But Thiel argues that competition actually destroys value. When many companies compete for the same customers, prices go down, profit margins shrink, innovation slows, and businesses focus on survival instead of creativity. In highly competitive markets, companies stop thinking about the future and start copying each other. Thiel compares this to a race where everyone is running in the same direction. No one wins by being slightly faster. They win by changing the game entirely. This is why the most successful companies don't compete. They aim to become monopolies. Now, when Thiel says monopoly, he doesn't mean illegal control or exploitation. He means a company that is so good at what it does that no other company can offer a close substitute. A monopoly is a business that has pricing power, earns strong profits, and can invest in long-term innovation. In contrast, companies in competitive markets are stuck fighting over thin margins and short-term results. Thiel argues that the goal of every startup should be to escape competition, not embrace it. Instead of asking, how can we beat our competitors? Great founders ask, how can we build something so unique that competitors don't matter? This shift in mindset, from competing to creating, is at the heart of 0 to 1. If competition is something startups should avoid, then the next question is obvious. How do great companies actually build monopolies? According to Peter Thiel, monopolies are not created by force or by luck. They are created by delivering dramatically more value than anyone else. In 0 to 1, Thiel explains that strong monopolies usually have one or more key advantages. 1. Proprietary technology. The first and most important advantage is proprietary technology. A breakthrough company doesn't just improve an existing product by 10 or 20%, it makes something that is at least 10 times better than the closest alternative. This kind of leap makes competition irrelevant. For example, Google's search algorithm was dramatically better than previous search engines. Tesla's battery and software technology set it apart from traditional car makers. Incremental improvements can be copied. Breakthrough technology cannot. 2. Network effects. The second advantage is network effects. A product has network effects when it becomes more valuable as more people use it. Social media platforms are a classic example. The more users they have, the harder it is for competitors to attract people away. Once a company reaches a certain scale, network effects create a powerful barrier to entry. Third advantage is economies of scale. As a company grows, its cost per user or per product goes down. This allows monopolies to operate more efficiently than smaller competitors. Software companies are especially strong in this area. Once the product is built, serving an additional customer costs almost nothing. This makes it extremely difficult for smaller companies to compete on price. Fourth, strong branding. The final advantage is strong branding. A powerful brand creates trust, recognition, and emotional connection. Customers don't just choose the product, they choose what the brand represents. Think about companies like Apple or Nike. Their brands are not just logos, they are identities. When branding is strong, even technically similar products can't compete. The key insight. Peter Thiel emphasizes that the best companies usually combine multiple advantages. This is what makes a monopoly durable, not just successful today, but protected in the long term. The goal isn't to dominate the entire world overnight. It's to build something so valuable in a specific area that no one else can catch up. And that brings us to the next idea in the book, why the smartest startups start small before they scale big. One of the most practical lessons in 0 to 1 is this. Great startups don't begin by trying to conquer huge markets. They start small and dominate. Peter Thiel argues that trying to serve everyone from day one is a mistake. Big markets attract intense competition, and new companies almost always lose. Instead, the smartest startups look for a small, specific market that others ignore, a market so small that large companies don't care about it. Competitors don't take it seriously. But customers desperately need a solution. By focusing on a narrow niche, a startup can become the clear leader, or even the only option. Thiel puts it simply. If you think your market is too small, you probably haven't defined it narrowly enough. Once a company completely dominates a small market, it can expand outward, step by step. Examples of starting small. Amazon began by selling only books online. Facebook started exclusively with Harvard students. PayPal focused on a tiny group of eBay power sellers. None of these companies tried to win the world on day one. They secured a monopoly in a small niche first, then scaled. Why this strategy works. Starting small allows a startup to learn faster, build stronger products, create loyal users, and avoid direct competition. Instead of being one of many options, the startup becomes the default choice. Once the foundation is strong, expansion becomes much easier and much safer. The bigger lesson. In 0 to 1, scaling is not the first step. Dominance is. The path to massive success isn't build something for everyone. It's build something amazing for a few, then grow. To truly understand 0 to 1, it helps to look at a company that Peter Thiel himself helped build, PayPal. In the late 1990s, moving money online was difficult, slow, and unreliable. Traditional banks were not designed for the internet, and sending money digitally was expensive and complicated. Most people accepted this as normal, but PayPal's founders saw a secret. They believed that email could become a financial identity, and that money could move as easily as information. Going from 0 to 1, PayPal wasn't just improving an existing system. It was creating a new way to send money, instantly, across borders, and without banks controlling every step. This was a true 0 to 1 innovation. Instead of trying to compete directly with major financial institutions, PayPal created an entirely new category: digital peer-to-peer payments. Starting small, rather than targeting everyone, PayPal focused on a very specific niche: power sellers on eBay. These users had a real problem. They needed fast, reliable payments. They operated across different locations, and existing solutions didn't work well for them. By solving this problem better than anyone else, PayPal quickly became the default payment method in that niche, building a monopoly. As more sellers adopted PayPal, buyers were forced to use it too. This created powerful network effects. Over time, PayPal became harder to replace. Competitors couldn't match its scale, and the company gained strong pricing power. Eventually, PayPal grew beyond eBay and became a global standard for online payments. The key lesson: PayPal didn't win by competing harder. It won by discovering a hidden opportunity, starting small, and creating a product so useful that competitors became irrelevant. This is 0 to 1 in action. Another powerful example of 0 to 1 thinking is Tesla. Before Tesla, most people believed electric cars had a clear future problem. They were slow, unattractive, expensive, and impractical. The auto industry treated electric vehicles as a compromise, not as a breakthrough. But Tesla's founders believed in a secret that most of the world rejected. Electric cars could be better than gasoline cars, not just cleaner. Creating something new. Tesla didn't try to improve existing electric cars. It reimagined what a car could be. Instead of building a cheap, mass-market vehicle first, Tesla started with a high-end sports car, the Roadster. This allowed Tesla to prove the technology, attract early adopters, and fund future innovation. This was a classic 0 to 1 move, starting with a niche. Tesla's early market was small, wealthy customers who wanted cutting-edge performance and sustainability. Traditional car manufacturers ignored this segment. That gave Tesla room to innovate without direct competition. Once Tesla dominated this niche, it expanded step by step, from Roadster to Model S to Model 3. Each step moved closer to the mass market, building a monopoly advantage. Tesla combined multiple monopoly advantages: proprietary battery and software technology, strong branding, economies of scale, and its own charging infrastructure. This made Tesla extremely difficult to copy. Tesla wasn't just selling cars, it was building an ecosystem. The key lesson: Tesla succeeded because it didn't ask, how do we compete with existing car companies? It asked, how do we build something no one else can? That question lies at the heart of 0 to 1. Now that we've explored the core ideas of 0 to 1 and seen them in action, let's bring everything together. Peter Thiel's message is simple, but deeply challenging. The future isn't built by copying what already exists. It's built by creating something new. Key takeaways from 0 to 1 first. Real progress comes from going 0 to 1, not from 1 to many. True innovation creates new value instead of competing for existing value. Second, the most successful startups are built on secrets, important truths that most people don't see or don't believe. Third, competition is not a goal. Great companies aim to escape competition by becoming so unique that competitors don't matter. Fourth, strong businesses build monopolies by combining advantages like proprietary technology, network effects, economies of scale, and powerful branding. Fifth, the smartest way to grow is to start small, dominate a niche, and then expand. What this means for you. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a creator, or someone thinking about the future, 0 to 1 challenges you to think differently. Instead of asking, what's already working? Ask, what's missing? Instead of asking, how do I beat the competition? Ask, how do I create something so valuable that competition becomes irrelevant? 0 to 1 is not a step-by-step startup manual. It's a mindset that encourages bold thinking, long-term vision, and the courage to believe in ideas before the world agrees with you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's interested in startups or innovation. And leave a comment below. What secret do you think most people are missing today? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.